Okay, this is Rocky Hall, Lassen County Oath Keepers from Susanville, California. I'm going to do another interview with a local gal, and go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jennifer Rose. I'm here from Burns. Been here for about 5 years. I grew up in Lakeview on a ranch down there with my grandparents.
So I'm going to ask you about what's been going on here, because I'm just trying to get the locals' word out as to what's happening to them and how this has affected them. Now, as an outsider coming from California, Oath Keepers, what do you think of us outsiders being here in your town, and how has that affected you?
Well, it's actually helped quite a bit, getting the word out, to people that what we're going through in this county is pretty unique, considering most of the ground here is owned by feds illegally, and that we can't use the ground that we have. Ranchers have been droughted out or flooded out, and it's ridiculous just to sell their land. They say it's for mineral rights. They say it's just, to have the ground. It's, there's a lot of different stories out there as to why they want it. My husband and I have been trying to get permits to graze cattle for 5 years, and we don't even so much as get to fill out a application for it.
I'm doing the interview here at the Narrows out by the refuge, and you have a local ranch close by, and so you've got firsthand experience as to what's going on out here. Can you tell me from the beginning, when this first started, what has happened to you and what's transpired during this time?
Well, the militia never, caused any problems with us locals. I mean, they were very polite, very upstanding people. I mean, they were, the militia was great, I drove up there to see what was going on, and...
up there as to the
refuge.
The refuge, okay.
And they met you with a cup of coffee and asked you if you were hungry, explained what they were doing, and when you go to town, you get met with an assault rifle, and I went to the courthouse today and almost got strip searched for having a button on my jeans.
Wow. So when they first took possession of the refuge, the things that have happened to you, I heard you talking earlier about being pulled over and the such. Can you go into detail about the things that have happened to you by the local law enforcement, as you were telling me earlier?
Well, I wouldn't call it local law enforcement. We've got so much law enforcement here now. The officers were state police that pulled me over. They originate from Bend. And yes, they followed me about 25 miles down the highway when I had a tractor sitting on a trailer on the back of my truck. And they followed me for 25 miles and then attempted to pull me over at the bottom of Wright's Point, which there's no stopping right there when you have a load on your vehicle. So I had to make it all the way to the top, and he says, well, you don't have a front license plate. And unbeknownst to us, out here, we don't tend to get bothered for stuff like that, but okay, it was a...
How long have you been going without a front license plate?
Oh shoot, that truck hasn't had it since we bought it several years ago.
Several years?
Yes, I have another one that doesn't have a front plate on it either that I had for years.
And you've been driving around Burns?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, but then I was questioned as to why I came down to the Narrows. I am close friends with the owners here, come down, quite often to see how she's doing and whatnot, and they pulled me over for that and then gave me a written warning, wanted to know why I was down here, made some comment as to running the barricade with the tractor, which was hilarious to me, but then after we got let go, I had another sheriff follow us all the way to town.
Just because you had a tractor on the back of your...
I guess, I don't know, and he was a local. I don't understand why. I mean, it might not have been for me, but he did turn around and follow us all the way back into town. When this first happened, or when the murder happened up there, they had the roadblocks and the feds down here, and a lot of ranchers were getting pulled over, searched, and everything, and I ended up going to town and getting my kids because I feared for their safety because of the feds out here.
So you took your kids out of school?
Yes, I did.
And are they back in school?
Yes.
And how has this affected your children?
We try to keep neutral ground at the school.
And what Are they scared? Are they okay? Are they doing fine?
They're a little apprehensive because of the law enforcement. I mean,
Who are they apprehensive towards? Is it the Oath Keepers, militia, three percenters?
no.
So, what's their apprehension?
It's having the police officers in the school, having everything disrupted, having to me, the militia wasn't here for the children. They didn't need to have all this law enforcement extra inside the schools and stuff. I mean, to me, it was, it's just a power trip. And my kids, they're farm kids. They're not used to dealing with law enforcement, and they're used to guns. I mean, we have guns. We go shooting all the time, We go out and shoot rabbits and coyotes and stuff. I mean, and they're always there. They know how to use firearms, and they're not afraid of them. But having cops walk all over the place, and question them, about things, it's unbelievable. I've told them to just be quiet and don't say anything about anything.
I talked to a local lady that has pulled her children out of the school. Do you know if there's anybody that's pulling their kids out of the school because of what's going on?
I don't personally know.
Have you heard of anything?
No,
Okay.
Not, and they wouldn't tell us anyway. I mean, I haven't heard of anybody doing it yet, but that's not to say they haven't.
Very tight-knit community out here where neighbors are 2, 3, 5 miles apart. You talk to each other. Have you heard any other stories about people being subject to searches out here?
Oh, yes.
Can you emphasize on any of the stories without giving names?
Oh, yes. There was one man and father that were pulled over out here and taken out of their rigs, handcuffed and put on the ground, and their vehicles were searched. They were searched. The son kind of got a little lippy, apparently, and was threatened with bodily harm by the law enforcement. They got searched several times before. They have a ranch down there past the roadblock. There's another person down there that also has a ranch, and they got harassed at least probably 4 or 5 days before they finally just were like, okay, well, we're going to be coming through here regardless of whether or not you like it or not. So,
well, they have to go to town and...
Well, yeah, they have to go feed their cows, too. I mean, there are some people that have land there that don't live there, but they have to go feed their animals, I mean, you can't just shut it down.
In order to feed their animals, they're subject to being pulled out of their vehicle.
Searched, yeah, and it started that Tuesday, or Wednesday, actually, after the shooting.
Is this still going on at this time?
Anybody who wants to go down there, yes, they won't allow people to go through. The 2 ranchers are able to go through now without too much grief. So, but it was pretty bad there for the first week.
This is going to, I'm hopefully going to put this on the Oath Keepers website. And is there anything that you would like to say about what's going on in this county that has affected you? You're talking to the nation at this point. What would you like to say about what's going on, how it's affected you?
Well, I'd like our state to get back control of our lands instead of the government. I mean, it's ridiculous to have government run it from, how many thousands of miles away. They have no idea what we go through to put beef on their tables. I mean, they have no idea what entails with ranching, the chaos that we have to put up with just the federal law around here. I mean, or the federal government in general. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, and this is so far the worst county I have ever seen. When I grew up in Lakeview, they gave out permits to BLM land. It paid to help maintain the fences. You maintained your fences, it maintained the ground. They were able to go do cleanup. If they're worried about overgrazing, they always had grass meters down there. They were checked diligently. Once the grass was so high, you took your cows off and moved them. I mean, there was no problem. I have never seen a county so shut down and so owned or so, driven by the government. I mean, and the ground's going to waste. I mean, they just leave it lay, old grass, dead grass stays, and new grass can't sprout up because it's not burned, it's not grazed. The wildlife doesn't graze it enough.
Did you know the Hammond family?
Yes, we knew about it. Yes, we've lived here long enough that, yes, I have met Steve.
And what do you think of the Hammond family? What's your perception of the Hammonds and the Bundys?
They did nothing wrong. They did nothing wrong. There is no reason why they should be in prison. Nothing. I mean, look how many fires the BLM starts on private ground without asking questions. I mean, they started a backfire that put out a wildfire.
And is that common practice?
Yes, it is. It is common practice. I mean, it's ridiculous how they did it. It's all because the Hammonds are bordered on 3 sides. Their ranch is actually bordered on 3 sides by the refuge. And then they have a piece of ground that's bordered all the way around by refuge, and refuge wants that ground. They really do. I mean, and they have tried everything. They've tried locking the gates on them so they can't use the easement to get to their ground. I mean, they've done everything trying to get them to sell.
How long has this been going on?
Oh, years. I mean, you're talking 10, 20 years, and this is...
Too long.
Yes, very, too long. And it's in Malheur County, too. I mean, there was a poor rancher over there that is going through the same thing. Every time they get awarded money from the BLM, it gets overturned. I mean, they've been fighting it for 15 years. And, the government has endless funds.
Yes.
All they're doing is waiting for the rancher to run out of money. Yeah, it is very sad. I feel like our way of life is just disappearing.
How do you feel about how the local law enforcement, the sheriff and the such, how do you feel about how they have handled this situation?
Not well at all. Personally, I believe that all this other law enforcement shouldn't have come in. The feds should not be here. I mean, it's ridiculous.
This could have been handled at a private level.
Yes. In our county alone, we have 5 different law enforcement agencies. We have Hines Police, we have Burns Police, we have the Tribal Police, we have State Police, and we have County. Out of all of those people, and we have a big state police presence, because this is a central meeting point to hit Highway 20 to go to the valley.
Okay.
And there is some trafficking that goes on, drug trafficking and stuff. So yes, we have a high police presence just in our town alone. Why isn't that enough? I mean, why do we need Hood River? Why do we need Eugene? Or Lane County? I mean...
And they've all come in.
Oh yes. We have probably another 5 different sheriffs, county sheriffs here from different counties.
I've personally, staying at the motel, they go by approximately every 20 minutes, easily every 20 minutes. I counted 3 in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're cruising through our parking lot. They're looking at our tags.
Yep.
And I was told, because I have out-of-state plates, that I would be pulled over. And I'm hearing a lot of that as well.
Especially Idaho. Idaho's a really good one. Yeah.
That's being pulled over. I'm going to end the interview with asking you, is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything at all?
I really wish the feds would go home and let the locals get... I mean, everybody agrees that the 4 people that are left there should go home. I mean, it's beyond time. Everything is being fought in the courts now. Whether or not it's going to help, I mean, it has brought a lot of attention to this, which is very good. But at this point, those 4 people really need to go home. And they're not going to leave with the feds here. The feds need to go home. Let the locals get them out of there, because it would be very simple. I mean, we could go up there and have a peaceful conversation. They're not going to shoot anybody. That was never the intention for anybody to get hurt.
And speaking to the United States public right now, is there anything that you want to tell them as an American citizen?
Just that, this has been the way of life for how many years? I mean, thousands of years. This is where we all started from. All of our families started from this.
Yeah.
And it's very sad to see it disintegrating to nothing. I mean, do we really want to become a country where the government is completely in control of all the cattle, all the food? I mean, do we really want to do that? Or do we want to have the right to be able to do the things that we are supposed to, that our forefathers gave us the right to do?
Did you go to Chris Ann Hall's Constitutional?
I was not able to. My husband works in Alaska, so I'm home taking care of the ranch and my kids by myself. But
oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a lot on my plate.
Okay.
Yeah, I take care of everything here while he's working. So.
Okay, so you're home alone with the kids and putting up with this and dealing with this as a single parent at this time, because he's gone. And so the stress on you personally...
Yeah, just with the law enforcement. I mean, it sucks to be harassed. You know, especially when you're driving down the road with a tractor on a trailer.
By yourself? Were you in the vehicle alone?
No, I have my kids.
So you're a female with kids in the vehicle, and you get pulled over and asked like if you're going to ram the barricade.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I had to question that because it didn't make sense to me. Okay, I'm going to end this interview with saying thank you so much for allowing me to talk to you and get onto camera, and I'm going to try my best to get this out there. So thanks.
Thank you.